There's no doubt that Maya is currently the queen of 3D animation software. Any behind-the-scenes video of current movies and AAA video games shows artists using Maya. Blender, even though it costs nothing and has improved by leaps and bounds, is almost nowhere to be found. But will the latest version of Blender finally change that? Can Blender finally dethrone Maya as the premier software used in AAA film and game studios? With the 2.8 version of Blender, it will finally have a set of features that surpasses Maya's and an interface that conforms to current industry standards. Blender now has a real-time viewport render engine, complete 2D animation toolset, integrated compositor, video editor, and game engine, as well as high-quality smoke, fluid, and cloth simulations. That, along with the fact that Maya currently costs $3,495 while Blender is free, should catapult Blender to be the main tool used by the big boys of film and gaming. But it's not that easy to get big studios to adopt Blender as their main tool just yet. Several factors are still in Maya's favor, and the Blender Institute and community will have to overcome these before the big B finally gets its due. First, while Blender has produced some amazing visuals, there is still the perception out there that the visuals it produces are not on par with Maya's. Being free, Blender naturally attracts hobbyists and beginners. In general, their work is not going to be as polished as someone who has spent years in the industry. It's a matter of perception. The Blender Institute open movies and higher quality work from the Blender community are catching up though. I think soon the perception gap will be whittled down as feature films produced using Blender like Next Gen on Netflix have shown. Next, Autodesk has done a great job of ensuring that, even though their software is expensive, it has been made widely available to art schools. They have made academic outreach a major focus, so graduates of art schools can jump right into a job at a major studio without having to learn the software. Blender will need to do similar outreach so that students and teachers at art schools have more exposure to the software and can understand its capabilities. Support is another area where Autodesk has an advantage. Autodesk is capable of addressing the concerns of major studios directly. Blender, being open source and decentralized, cannot respond directly to studios. Although I think the open source nature of Blender is its greatest asset. This allows coders from around the world to add to Blender, making it infinitely extendable, responsive, and reflexive. Again, I think it's a matter of perception. Finally, I think it's difficult to overcome the effect entrenchment has on any industry. Once a set of tools is in place and everyone at the company knows them, it's very hard sell to move en masse to a new set of tools, especially one that does not have a long track record in the industry. Most productions run at a breakneck pace with small, if any, margin for error. Better to stick with the tools you know, even if there is something better and significantly cheaper out there, than run into unforeseen problems with new tools. So, I think the 2.8 version of Blender can and should be able to challenge Maya's supremacy in the coming years. There are, however, significant issues that Blender will have to overcome to do so. Producing high-quality examples like the Blender Institute open movies can help overcome the perception Blender is only a tool for hobbyists. Reaching out to art schools to get Blender taught will help it to be adopted by teachers and upcoming artists. Finally, Blender just needs to keep being awesome. It needs to keep adding cool features to a free open source platform owned by the world, not one behemoth of a company.